everybody, I'm Amy from the Cauldron, and in today's episode of Dye Time I'm going to be over dyeing this skein. It's 10 grams and it's been dyed at a 1% depth of shade with Nebula Navy, which is a fibre reactive dye from Dyer. This yarn is 75% Superwash Merino, 25% Nylon. And the colour I'm using today is purple. This is an acid dye from DT Craft and Design. Now, I said that this yarn was dyed at a 1% depth of shade. That means there was 1 gram of dye per 100 grams of yarn. So since this is only 10 grams, I used 0.1 gram of dye to dye this. So you can see Nebula Navy is a really deep colour if that was 0.1 grams. And so I'm using a 1% depth of shade again for this purple. So I've got 0.1 gram of dye in that, and I'm going to try over dyeing this. I did try over dyeing this with fluorescent fuchsia to see if it dyed. It didn't. So now I'm going to see if this purple will dye, because it's quite a strong purple colour, quite a deep one. I really like it, and I can't really tell if this is making any difference or not. So I'm going to add 1, 2, 3 tablespoons of vinegar, because this is a animal fibre. It needs heat, it needs an acid, and I've added the vinegar, and it needs the right sort of dyes. Now with an animal fibre you can use acid dyes, you can use fibre reactive dyes, and you can use certain food colourings as well. So I think this is starting to change colour. I might just be kidding myself. Now, all the equipment I'm using in today's episode is dedicated for dyeing. I don't use it for food. And when I measured out my dye, I did have my gloves on, and I did have a mask as well. I'm just going to cover this now, let it get nice and steamy, and then let this sit on the heat for probably 30 to 40 minutes. And then we'll see if A, the dye has all absorbed to the yarn, and B, if this has actually made any difference to the colour. This has been on the heat for about 35 minutes-ish now. It looks like there's a tiny bit of colour left in the pot here, but I don't think it's really a lot. And I think the colour of that yarn has changed a little bit. I think it might be a little bit more purpley, but again, I might just be fooling myself. But it's been on the heat for long enough now, so I can turn off the heat, let it cool down, and then I can wash it. This yarn has completely cooled down now, so I'm just washing it out in some cold tap water with a bit of washing up liquid. That should help remove any of the excess dye or and the vinegar smell. But it doesn't look like there's actually any colour coming out, which I'm really, really happy about. That's fantastic considering how much dye is in here. And I think that certainly looks a bit more purpley now than it did. Yeah, it'll be nice to compare, because I did keep a little swatch of the original colour. It'd be nice to compare with that to see how it has changed. But yeah, nothing's coming out of this, which is brilliant. So I can just rinse this out a couple more times and then hang it out to dry. And here is my finished yarn. This is the swatch of Nebula Navy that I have saved. This piece of yarn actually came off of this skein after I finished dyeing it originally. So that is what the colour was originally. You can see that purple has definitely dyed this yarn, and you can definitely see a difference there. I'm really happy because this is quite a dark colour, and so I was worried that I was going to have to keep dyeing and dyeing until I eventually gave up and just used black. But I didn't have to, because that purple has made a gorgeous yarn that I'm so happy with. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I have enjoyed making it. This was a lot of fun to do, and yeah, I'm really happy with how this yarn has turned out. What do you think of this yarn? Let me know down in the comments. I publish a new video every Monday, usually around 6 PM UK time, and I do like to experiment with things. I like to over dye, I like to use different colours, I like to use different fibre types. I'm doing a lot of tie dyeing at the moment, so make sure you are subscribed and you've got notifications turned on so you don't miss any new videos. Thank you so much for watching.